What'd you do in the Air Force?
I loaded nuclear weapons.
You loaded nuclear weapons?
Yes.
Like onto planes?
Onto planes, on B-52s, F-15. I dropped one of them on the B-52.
You dropped one of them and an explosion happened?
No, it didn't explode. It just hit the flight line and everybody ran because I didn't follow the normal procedures. But I was in a rush. It wasn't my fault because Luke, Too Loud Crew was coming in town. And I was distracted. But I had told my commander, do not put me on there. Luke is coming in there with them hoes, and I am going. And I put in for leave and everything, and he gonna put me in there to tell me change the munition for the planes that's on alert. Because you have to change the munitions not to let the Russians or any of our enemy knows what the capabilities each plane had, and it was time to rotate it. And I was like, man, you know I'm supposed to go see Luke. And they said, just do that, then you can leave. Of course, I ain't followed the procedures, put it up there. And the grease fittings wasn't in tight enough, and I lowered the rack. And as soon as I lowered it, you just heard, okay, and I hit the ground. Boom! And everybody just started running. I was like, I don't know what you're running for. This is a nuke. This motherfucker gonna take out the whole goddamn state.
Doesn't matter. You can't run.
Can't run. I just sat down, smoked a cigarette, waited on the police.
Better to be the first one killed and just be done with it.
But it was real good though, because it was a great pickup line. Excuse me. Because I tell women all the time when I was in the military, I said, if I ever knock on your door and say, make love to me tonight, that means your Mr. Right is at the door, because we just send them nukes in the air. So you might as well get it in now. You better get it in now.
So you made it up to sergeant?
Yes.
So that's pretty high. But
I mean, that comes along with it. I never earned a stripe. You get that. With just time and service. I was terrible, man. I was terrible.
You were terrible?
Yeah, I was a terrible soldier. Like we have simulated wars and everything. I died the first day. I was Christopher Abbott. Dude, my boy's like, what you doing in the cool tank? I said, I died. I'm the first one died. Because if you die, you can't participate in the war. And they got to do a proper calculation. How many people we'll have if we have these kind of scrimmages against North Korea, these kind of scrimmages against the Russians. And every day we kick off the war and simulate it. I died the first day. So I can go back to my room. And people are like, wait, why you ain't out here doing your exercise? I died. So everybody started calling me Christopher Addis, because I died the first day of the war, every time, the simulated war, every time it is, I'm the first one. Take this gas mask off of me, take everything. Then they caught on. Somebody snitched on me. So they say, you ain't dying, you doing this whole exercise. So I'm like, damn, somebody done snitched on me.
So the kids will not remember the Gulf War, but the first George Bush, right, said we're attacking Kuwait, right? Before the second, which is the reason why the second George Bush was like, we got to kill Saddam because you tried to kill my daddy in the Gulf War, right?
True.
And you were like, no, I'm not going to be part of that. What happened there?
Well, what happened is Saddam Hussein went into Kuwait, and
Right.
if he would have took over the oil there, he would have owned like 1/4 or 2/3. I don't know what the fraction of all the oil in the world. Of course, as you see, our economy, but I was kind of like Nostradamus. Our economy is a consumer-based economy. So anyway, they was like, he's not going to be able to own all this oil. We're going to war about it. And you got to understand, back then, that's when everybody was patriotic and everything. Boy, you had coalition of the whole world going against them. Whitney Houston was singing at the Super Bowl. It was patriotic. And you had one chip in the cookie talking about, I ain't going over there to fight. Shoot, I mean, shit, I ain't fighting over no oil. I ain't even got a car. You better send Exxon over there or BP over there. Now, let me know when they get to D.C., then I'll help out. So they didn't like that much. So they tried to send me over there, but I got out of it.
So when were they said you are going to the front lines.
Yeah,
And
well,
you said, no, I am not getting on the plane.
yeah, because you got to understand, we gave him a moratorium, we gave him an ultimatum. You better be out by January the 6th, January the 16th. And people don't know, you know, we just, as a military, it's a vessel, man. Before you do war, certain things have to move. You have to prepare for it. So we was about to deploy, and once we got the word that we was deploying, this would happen. That's when I stood up and said, man, I ain't no real soldier. I joined the military to get out of my mama's house. I could have stayed at home to get shot at. Stop the car, doughboy. Drop me back off at the recruiter office.
I mean, you make a joke out of it, but I'm sure it was a very serious, dramatic situation when you're telling your commanding officer, and by the time you're a sergeant, you're pretty high up there, and you're telling your commanding officer, like, no, I'm not going. And that is hugely different than everyone around you. And as you pointed out, that war was not the most unpopular war, as opposed to the Iraq war, which was very unpopular. So
Right.
you're really going against the grain, saying, no, I'm not going to.
No, yes.
War.
Yes.
So I mean, was it hard? Was it dramatic to be like, no, I'm not going?
No, because I knew what I said didn't matter until what I had to do, because they paid me no attention. I'm not going. But ultimately, they was trying to get me to go. And it was a meeting of the minds who was going to win. And, of course, I won. Because I broke my wrist.
I mean, they can't. You broke your wrist? Yeah.
On purpose? Huh?
On purpose?
Hell yeah, because you can't go anything if you have a physical disability. Yeah, right. They put you on a waiver.
Right.
And they was really trying to send me to make me an example. So I was at a club, and God is always on my side. A young lady who worked at equivalent to everybody else customer service, but we call it SIBO, said, hey, we just typed up your orders. And tomorrow when you come to work, they're going to ship you all the way out to Saudi Arabia. That's where the base that we was going to be fighting at tomorrow. So I got together with my friends and the mother of my child at that particular time and said they're trying to send me over there to get me killed. You got to understand, at that particular time, we thought he had weapons of mass destruction.
Right.
We thought he also had chemical weapons. And that's why when I tell people about the coronas, instead, we have already been trained with that. We was trained that this could be a possibility other than coronas. I mean, coronavirus on it. So I was like, these are trying to get me. So what I did, I got all my people together and said, we're going to sit there. I said, the only way I can get out here if I have a physical ailment that keeps me from being deployed. So everybody knew that. So one of my boys like, let's shoot you in the ankle. I said, nigga, you just trying to fuck me up. And then we all got together. So we just thought about break my wrist. So we got this axe handle. I got it now. I just got it back from my baby's mother. And one of my boys, his name was Griff, held my arm out. My other boy, Dave, looked over there, and Dave hit it with the axe handle. Bow! And I fell to the ground. My girl was crying. She was like, oh, baby. Oh, I said, fuck all that. Bitch, get the car. Take me to the hospital. That was your job. And so he drove me to the hospital. I got a cast on it. So the next morning, had my back turned. My sergeant came. He tapped me on the shoulder. Said, Sergeant Stroman, get ready to deploy. And I turned around with a cast on. And he saw me. I smiled. He said, you did that on purpose. You sitting there on a court martial? I said, sir, I, with all due respect, I am offended that you would think that I would inflict any pain on myself and the United States government property. That is outlandish, and I want you to what did I say? I need you to take back that statement immediately. So he took me up to the commander, the general, and said, he did this on purpose. I said, no, I didn't, sir. I fell in the bathtub taking a shower. So they deployed. I stayed and worked in the snack bar until the war was over.
The honesty or dishonesty aside, I'm still stuck on the side of you purposefully broke your wrist like that. Like I was like, what? Like that's great. I mean, wow.
You ain't never seen people in Vietnam shoot themselves so they can get on the back. You ain't
Yeah.
never seen a dude. I forgot one movie. A dude stabbed himself in the thigh so he can go back
Yeah.
home. See, I don't have a problem with defending this country, but I'm not going to defend this country based on your perception of the threat.
Right.
I mean, you articulated the reason why you taking this great country to war because Saddam Hussein invaded a country, not because they're sovereign, not because he was in imprisonment. He took it over for the oil, which in Texas, I don't have a car. So that's not my fight. I'm on the bus. The fuck I'm fighting for? You better send BP and Exxon over there.
So I mean, I think I know the answer to this question, but with the benefit of hindsight, because the way you explain the conflict makes me seem like you'd be like, well, I understand why we had to stop him there. He did not have WMD, so we didn't need to go into Iraq, but we all do need oil and gas to get around. So do you still think that younger you was right to say, no, I'm not going to that?
Of course, because it was all about commerce. Regardless if he owned it or he had to sell it. I mean, I wasn't benefiting nor hindered by the price of gas or oil.
So you'd be comfortable with Saddam Hussein having controlled, a large quantity of the gas, of the oil in the world?
No, because I don't believe just by him taking Iraq oil, Kuwait's oil, that he will own that much. Saudi Arabia still had theirs, other people have theirs, and that is not for me, my humble opinion. My life is not worth sacrificing or being in jeopardy in exchange to stop somebody for having crude oil.
I mean, the military's multi-year obsession with Saddam Hussein, in retrospect, is like, damn, why were we trying to kill this man so long? I mean, this had such a huge impact on modern American history.
Yeah, but if you really pull it down, it didn't have nothing to do with him. It had to do with their economical stance and their standard of living. For them, they didn't want the oil to be adjusted on a higher level because it would affect them. It had nothing to do with us. If it wasn't no oil in the Middle East, they wouldn't give a damn what's going on over there. Mm-hmm. It's just that they had that treasure over there. So you wasn't going to fool me in the game and all of a sudden you coming over here to save the world and it was wrong. If you was truly worried about injustice, you could have just looked in your backyard at me. You didn't have to go all the way over to the Middle East to be this savior. So I wasn't falling for it. And
so then you didn't have a car. No. Now what are you pushing?
Well,
something German,
yeah. I got a BMW, Maybach, Stankin' Lankin, couple Mercedes.
Oh, see, he's living large. So